complete opposite coasts from one another
Oh,
and be able to share this. So how's your evening been?
it's good, but whoever set up a 4 a.m. Zoom call for me is fired. Although I think it was me.
I think you did give me that as an option. And I was like, oh, yeah, 7 a.m. We can start our morning. Yeah, 4 a.m. for you sounds a little tougher than 7 a.m. here. But how have your conversations been going? Anything really interesting that you've gotten to be a part of thus far?
It's been great. We've had some really good conversations, and some. It's been good to have conversations with people that maybe we don't
Mm.
align completely with, but we
Yeah,
can have some respectful conversation and walk away friends and just agree to disagree on some things. But we
yeah,
found that there were more things we were aligned on than we thought.
yeah.
Yeah. How
Good.
about you?
Um, yeah, had some good conversation with city officials, county representatives, with some of our current residents, actually graduates, and I think that's probably been one of my favorite conversations that I've had thus far. One of our graduates, his name is Ron Bailey. He works for in fact, he's worked up into a management position. He came back, and I haven't seen him maybe for a couple weeks, couple months maybe, and he came back and just gave us kind of an update on where he is. He's going to end up hiking the Appalachian Trail. That's one of his goals, actually, to raise some awareness around mental health issues and homelessness. And he's absolutely knocking it out of the park for himself. And so really good to catch up with him, hear his story, and I think just be able to celebrate him and so many of his successes that he's experienced. So yeah, that's definitely been, I think, one of the highlights of my evening. And he came at a really tough time. It was like 11:30. So when things were getting a little slow and I'm a little tired, it was good to hear from him.
Yeah. I had somebody show up just when I was going to go to sleep around midnight. And I think we talked for over an hour.
Oh,
Great.
wow.
Yeah, it was really good. But I was able to rest for a little while afterward, but not much. So you're inside because it's pretty cold out there,
It
right? You guys have to
is.
move it in.
Yep, we moved in last night, probably around 9 o'clock or so. At that point, it was like 8 degrees, and then it's 4 degrees now, approximately. And so, yeah, we made the decision to move inside because we just knew that we weren't going to be able to stay outside. It wasn't going to be safe or healthy really for anybody at that point. So we moved inside around 9. We'll plan to move back outside likely around 9 o'clock. So in another 2 hours for us here, and then keep the conversation going for another 7 hours after that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a long day for sure. But
Yeah, very long
I'm
day.
glad you guys made the decision to stay safe.
Yep.
So,
Yep, us too. I've been just a little while ago, or I guess it was kind of when we first started. We had the opportunity to Zoom with Ryan Dirt down there in Greenville, and we've been keeping up with them just on their live feed on their Facebook and YouTube, and they seem to be bundled up well. But it is chilly down there, especially for them. I think they said it was down to like 19 degrees or 20 degrees.
wow.
So
It's funny. It's not funny, but we talked about this last August. It was like, yeah, those places are going to be pretty warm. They won't get all that cold. It's those people in the Northeast that have to worry, and the whole Eastern Seaboard. It's like, wow, and it's cold here compared to what it normally is, but not like you guys. I think we're at, I don't know what the temperature is right now, but in the evening it was like 37. So
yeah,
we're above. Yeah, if the wind comes up, it gets a little chilly, but I've got heaters and the whole thing. So
good. Yeah.
tell me about Winchester Rescue Mission and what you guys do. What kind of programs do you run there?
Yeah, gosh, I'm so proud of the work that we get to be a part of. So Winchester Rescue Mission, first of all, Winchester, Virginia is a the city itself is a really small city. We are in the very northwestern part of the state of Virginia. The city itself is about right over 9 square miles. We're about an hour and a half or so outside of Washington, D.C. And real just vibrant, very quickly growing, rapidly growing area. But here at our rescue mission, we just celebrated in 2023. We just celebrated our 50-year anniversary. Winchester Rescue Mission started as a men's homeless shelter, just providing services for men only. And the organization has expanded just in so many ways over the last 50 years. So currently we have a men's program where we have capacity for up to 35 men in our facility. And then we have capacity for up to 10 women in our women's programs as well. So in total, around 45 individuals with safe shelter, meals, access to programs and case managers on staff with us. So that's really kind of the bread and butter of Winchester Rescue Mission, but we have an incredible food ministry program where we serve community meals every day of the week, every week of the year to anybody who walks through our doors. So both our residents and anybody who finds themselves in need of a meal can walk through our doors and get a hot lunch or dinner. And then we also have a really cool, what we call Cameron Market. So we're on the street that we're on is North Cameron Street. And so we have Cameron Market, which is a food distribution. And so we're able to partner with our local food bank and then redistribute food and groceries free of charge to families or individuals who are experiencing some food insecurity without, really any restrictions on income or anything like that, housing status. So that's a lot of what we've got going on. We're in the middle of a capital campaign, middle of some major renovations at a new building where we'll be able to expand into emergency shelter, and the opening of that facility will allow us to expand our women's programs as well. So lots going on here, but we are one of the smaller rescue missions, but definitely growing as our city continues to grow. Tell us a little bit about Bread of Life and what you guys are doing out there in Seattle.
Yeah, so we're in Pioneer Square, which is a smaller community. It's like the historic community within Seattle. And we're 86 years old. It's all men program. We have about 50 mats on the floor of the chapel every night for emergency shelter. People can come in under the influence, but they're out during the day, and they have up to 30 days in that. And then they have to either move into our program or move on. It used to be like almost forever. And felt like we needed to use those beds for people who really did want to change. And that's what we're all about, is life change. So 30-day limit. And then our other 110 beds upstairs are part of a program where we, the 8 S's that we use in Citygate of life transformation, we use those as our descriptors for our program. So we walk a path with people through safe, sober, stable, schooled, skilled, secure, settled, and serving. So we're building out our program around that, but that's 110 beds. So.
Wow, 110. And there is, that's incredible that you guys do so much out there. And there's another rescue mission out there as well. How do you collaborate not only with them, but how do you collaborate with other nonprofit providers? Because, that's been a topic of conversation with us around here. How do you collaborate with other nonprofit providers to help address and tackle the very complex issue of homelessness?
Well, I've only been here a year and a half, so I'm still learning who's here. But, I'm in a lot of meetings with different groups of providers and looking for ways that we can collaborate together because, we can't do it all. Somebody's doing something really well in our city. I would rather let them do that so we can put our resources into something else. but Seattle's UGM is here, and actually one of their staff came and sat on the bench with me yesterday.
Right on.
Um, they're a big mission, and we're the little guy. But one of the things I asked the board when I was interviewing was what does Bread of Life, what's their niche, like how are they different? And so we're exploring that. What is it that we want to be known for? And I think it's really the life change, and going deep in that. And but we're looking for, what can we do really, really well, that's not overlapping services with somebody else. So we're working on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, love that. That's one of the things that we say here is that we're not in fact I was talking with one of our board members a little earlier this morning, that we're not in the business of warehousing people. We want to be in the business of life transformation. What do your programs look like when you say transforming lives? What do those programs, what does that case management services look like?
We're kind of still building this out. We
Mm-hmm.
really changed the program over last May, and we're kind of ramping that up as we go. So there were people in our shelter that had been here for a long time, and people who were working and saving money for a long time. So now we're doing case management with them and helping to make sure that they're saving money, doing budgeting with them, and so on, so that they can find a home. We're not a home; we are a shelter, and so we want to help people to find the home that is right for them. So we're working with them. Right now, we have 2 case managers and an education coordinator. We're really trying to do more hiring so that we can do more in our program. So, we want to collaborate on maybe something with MAT, medically assisted treatment, and just go deeper in the sobriety piece. So we're really still putting the building blocks together for that program. That's the path we're going to have, but there's a lot more that we want to add to it. So,
yeah, that's great. And I think one of the we're looking at adding new programs to our services. And I was talking a little a while ago, I feel like at this point, to Ryan, and I think that's one of the great things about being a part of Citygate Network is you've got people who've been there, done that, either built a program or you're able to take resources from them and learn from them, and quite frankly, I feel like learn with them on building that. What do you feel like has been a big benefit to you and Bread of Life of being a member of Citygate Network?
oh wow, yeah. I had a call with Brandon last night, and I was just, I wouldn't be doing this job if it wasn't for Citygate, because they've been there for me when I went through a lot of hard stuff. So really, I didn't know anything when I started. I just knew we needed to have a shelter in our town, and going to Citygate conferences and working with some of the consultants and different people there, asking questions of other missions. I learned what it meant to put all the pieces together, how to do a capital campaign, how to build my staff and that team, and just policy and procedure around shelter and all the things you don't know that you don't know. And and I've learned that, and it's just, it's priceless, this stuff that I've learned. I feel like I should have a master's degree with all that they've taught me.
Right. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly with you. This is my first year in this role, and I think I've been able to. Well, I've got so much more learning to do. That's one of the things that I was talking about last night was, my desire to be a curious, lifelong learner, and I feel like you have to have that mentality in the work that we do. but I think Citygate Network has created opportunities for me to hold relationships with people, friends like you and Andrea out in Gresham, Oregon, and Ryan down in South Carolina, and Jeremy and Michael, up in Philly and Asheville. And I think those, Jack up in Pennsylvania as well, just those relationships really mean so much to me. And I know that, if I really can't get out of my own way and my own thinking. And I've got an amazing staff here. But if I need to talk with somebody who's been there, done that, or maybe who hasn't, who's also new at this, and just kind of, have some conversations with them and try to figure some things out with them, because I know that I'm not the only one. That's one of my favorite things about the conferences that we get to go to, either the regional or the national or the CEO summit or the DC forum. Just getting to hang out with people who, and learn from people who really have the same passion as you and just do things in a different way, and get to learn from them. Yeah, that's definitely, then develop friendships really is definitely, I think, one of my favorite parts of.
Yeah, it's really hard as a CEO to, you've got to go outside of your organization to find peers that can support you. And, our district out here, we're the Evergreen District, and it covers a huge area in the Pacific Northwest and inland. And we do a monthly call with the CEOs of the missions and just support each other in prayer and talk about what we're doing and cheer each other on and share our tough things. And it's just really, really helpful, because we can't share that with our staff. We need somebody who's in it with us, and then we're there for each other when hard things happen too. So
yeah, one of the things that you mentioning that just reminded me of it is there's usually a monthly, the last couple months, I think it was like Christmas came up, so maybe we took a month off of that, is the Women in Leadership call that we've got with Citygate Network. I think being a woman in being a female in nonprofit ministry leadership can have its own sets of challenges in a field of work that's already challenging. And so, getting to work with and look up to so many women in this field is also something that I'm very grateful for, and I'm grateful that Citygate Network has intentionally created an opportunity for us to be a part of that and connect.
Yeah, what are there, like something like 80 female CEOs now, something like that, out of like 300 plus missions. So that's getting to be a pretty good number. And I think females in this role have different, some different things we want to talk about with each other to the men. Learn a lot from the guys, but sometimes I just want to talk to some women that are in my shoes, because we have other roles, that we're juggling as well. So yeah, it's all good. It's really good to have those relationships. We've got a great group of peers out there. So
yeah. One of the things that I wanted to ask you about, because I've done, and this was a little while ago, maybe 18 months ago or so, I really did some kind of looking into it, is how effective organizations like ourselves can have a positive relationship and a supportive relationship with local law enforcement. I think a lot of times we can see law enforcement, particularly with the demographic of people who we serve and we work with, as such high frequency of potential conflict. But do you guys work frequently with your local law enforcement? Are there any kind of creative things that Seattle or you guys there have done with your law enforcement, as far as working with vulnerable populations, working with the homeless, and individuals who are suffering from addiction? Do you guys have anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that relationship is definitely a two-way street, right? you know, if law enforcement thinks that you're a place just to drop off somebody that is
Mm.
homeless and leave them on your sidewalk, that's not a great thing. But honestly, law enforcement here has been wonderful. We have a great relationship with the police and with the fire department. And just there's a lot of different groups here that are around the area to de-escalate or
Mm.
and so we've got, you know, and we've had some of them sitting on the bench with me. Um, Something that I think is really cool that Seattle is doing that I think will be replicated in other cities is that the mayor stood up a team. It was a trial called
Mm.
the Unified Cares Team. I think I got that right. And Chief Amy Barden is over it, and she's over the 911 call center.
Mm.
And her team goes out with or instead of police on different 911 calls that really need a softer touch. It's maybe stuff that police don't need to deal with. And it was really successful, and the mayor has expanded it to cover the whole city.
Mm.
And Chief Barden is, my understanding is that she's equal to like the chief of police and chief of fire. So we
Wow.
have three chiefs over that, you know, all of that, and I think it's making a real difference. And you know, she talks all the time about, you know, it's all about relationship, and
Mm.
you know, I just love the way that she talks about the issues in our city because um, we have to care about our city and we have to care about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like let's just come down on them, but um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really happy with what they're doing here, and I'm happy to be part of it and to collaborate with them.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. I've really loved to see, and I think I've seen a transition here over the last kind of 7 years, probably 6 to 7 years, where the relationship and the trust I think that we have with our police department has been just so successful. Where and you mentioned, having an law enforcement drop individuals off without any prior, checking in with us to see if we have any availability and things like that. And now, frequently we are called to see if we can help, what kind of resources we have, if there's any availability. From our officers who are on patrol directly, and I really appreciate them. We do have a community response team that's a part of, and that is a part of our local police department, and those guys come in here quite frequently, in also partnership with our community paramedic, who we'll hear from her a little while later today, but she's a part of our fire department, Winchester City Fire and Rescue, and really they collaborate really well to help make sure that individuals who might be falling through the cracks, for lack of better terms, really are able to get connected with the resources that they need. And so that's been really one of the great things that we've seen from our local law enforcement and fire department, just first responders in general. So definitely grateful for
That's good.
that.
Oh, I think you froze it.
Yeah. Well, what is the rest of your morning looking like? You have a good bit more people scheduled to come out?
I do. I booked myself pretty solid, but it's worked out. You know, I've had a few people just drop by, but most of the people have been scheduled, which has saved me from just talking to the camera for hours on end. Yeah, I have quite a full morning from about 7:30 on,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's going to be some people showing up here, you know, in the next few hours. I've probably got another hour or two lull, and then it'll be full throttle till 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got a good bit here within the next maybe 3 hours, and then in the afternoon, nobody necessarily scheduled, but I think it'll be a good opportunity for me to talk with our staff, because I'm with you. I think one of the challenging parts of this is it just being you and talking in the camera, and yeah, so I'm excited for what's to come later on this afternoon, and then wrapping things up at our time 3:53 with a prayer and talking with Citygate Network, and I think just thanking, showing some gratitude for the opportunity that we've had over the last what will then be 24 hours or so. So
yeah, it's actually, I don't know your experience, but so far I found it to be much easier than I thought. I really thought by now I would be a basket case, but I'm tired. I tried to sleep, couldn't sleep, but I rested, and it was pretty cold yesterday afternoon, but it hasn't been as bad last night. So, I have hopes that I'll get through this and not be too messed up by the weekend.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think the hardest part for me is like overnight during those really kind of quiet hours, and we didn't have a lot of people watching, commenting, or showing up between like midnight and 4. And so I used that time. We kind of had the cameras quiet, talked a couple times, but yeah, I'm feeling okay. I've had one cup of coffee thus far this morning. I think more will be coming this afternoon, or more will be coming later this morning, and then definitely this afternoon to keep me going. But yeah, excited for the potential that's still to come.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome.
Me too.
All right. Well, Kim, I wish you the best of luck with the next couple hours. It's good chatting with you. Good seeing you virtually. And will you be at the DC Forum? Are you coming to East Coast?
I am. I think it's really important with an incoming administration to know what's coming, to establish those relationships right off the bat. So I don't go every year, but this is an important one.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. I'm very much looking forward to this one, having some conversations, and really advocating for work that I know you feel and I feel just so strongly and passionately about. So I look forward to seeing you there, because that's coming up very quickly. I think in March, early March.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a lot going on between now and then. But my brain is already in March. So
yep.
Well, Lauren, best wishes on the rest of your morning and afternoon, and so glad to be doing this work with you, and that you're one of my peers, and I just really respect the work that you guys are doing out there.
I appreciate that, and I feel the same. I honored to know you, to call you friend, and to be able to work with you as well. So I wish you the best of luck, and I'll catch up with you here at the very end.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Kim. Best of luck to you and your team.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.